Hi everybody, how you doing? I'm Pabs, a Ricine VTuber and an artist, and today we're going to be doing a little bit more work on the comic page. I think we're up to page 6 now. After stream yesterday night, I went in and I did a little bit of extra work on the panel that we were working on yesterday, and I'm very happy with how it's coming along. So let's head over to the working screen so I can show you what I've been up to. Alright, here we go. So I'm very happy with how this panel is turning out after stream. I think the main things that I added were the railings to the back of the stairs in general, and I also did a little bit more with like the different kind of like impact lines everywhere. I'm very happy with how the panel turned out, to be perfectly honest. Oh yeah, I also changed the perspective on the floor a little bit. I think before it was a little bit difficult to read. So those are the main things that I switched around while you guys weren't looking. Then I think, yeah, a weird thing happened today. I say a weird thing as if it wasn't like a planned and strategic move that I had been actually meaning to do for a little while. I went to the library and I went to, originally I went to go get a document of mine scanned. Unfortunately, that didn't really pan out. But I did end up printing one of the pages. I think it was page 4. Yeah, page 4, to kind of see what it would look like printed. And boy, let me tell you, that one was a wacky adventure, because what they don't tell you is that, well, actually, no, everybody tells you this. The way that computers and the way that, oh, here we go. The way that computers and the way that, what do you call, screens... No, not... come back here. Anyway, the way that computers and the way that eyes process images are slightly different. So if you want to print something, there's a bunch of different things that you need to go through. Like, for example, a higher DPI. I've mentioned it before. You can't have, like, zero anti-aliasing. That doesn't work. Or at least it doesn't look as good. Hang on a minute. It's a whole lot of different things, essentially. But one of the things as well is that, what you see on screen isn't necessarily what's going to show up printed out on the paper. And I went and I printed one of the pages, and it looks pretty good, actually. Like, I have it right here. I wrote some notes in the margin. I didn't take a picture of it to upload, unfortunately. But I've already noticed some things that I could start doing a little bit better. So I'm very happy with it. I tried to do that. I think I'm going to try and do it for like all the different pages, and then, because I feel like when you're making it panel by panel, it's good to take a step back, and I think that what really helps with that is just actually printing out the page and looking at it. I printed it on an A4 sheet, or actually this is letter size sheet. And, for example, I'm noticing that the halftoning, which I was hoping would work out, at least at the DPI that I printed, didn't really work out. I'm going to need to figure out another way to do that. I'm thinking just like normal cross-hatching. That's going to be a little bit difficult, though. But I'll figure it out, or I won't. I imagine I'm not the first person to have this kind of issue, but I did notice that like the cross-hatching that I did with like by hand shows up fairly well, and the cross-hatching that's from like this motion line. Hang on. So yeah, for example, the halftone here, which I imagine might actually look screwy for the people watching the stream. If you can see here, it's actually a bunch of little lines which eventually make a gradient. That gradient does also appear, but it comes with like weird tones. And also this like bit here, which is supposed to be like the wall, that they're like the other end of the wall here. I'm going to end up removing that, I think, because it does not mesh well. Yeah, particularly since I think I think I might have accidentally removed the line there, which makes it look even weirder. But for example, like this part back here, and the little gauze erasure that I did here, that actually turned out really well. Or for example, this little line here that I'm using to indicate her moving her hand. I either need to move that away from her hand, or I need to make it like pure black, because otherwise, and thicker, pure black and thicker, because right now from the paper it looks kind of like she's wearing like a Mickey Mouse or Sonic the Hedgehog style gloves. But the good news is that last night I ended up editing most of this first panel kind of just on its own. So rather than, using a vector layer, I exported what I already had and I just did it by hand, and it turned out a lot better. But yeah, that's what I've been learning today. So now we can go ahead and use that wisdom on panel 2. As soon as I remember what the hell I did for panel 2. What did I have in the stage directions here? Stage directions. They're not really stage directions. They're just like sketches. Okay, right. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Hmm. Hmm. Okay, good news. This first panel looks great. Bad news. I forgot how the first panel is supposed to see into the second panel, because this idea of the maid kind of thrusting the spear like that is kind of important to the next few action scenes. So I'm gonna need to think real hard about how I'm gonna show how that works. Not to mention just how I'm, the communication of movement is a difficult thing to nail. But I think what might have ended up happening is that I might have ended up flipping them by accident, where like they're each supposed to be. No, I definitely had it right. So then, okay, I think, well, first I need to lower, oh, the stabilization's already at 0. Well then. Oh, yeah, that's another cool thing I learned. Apparently, Clip Studio Paint does have like CMYK mode, but weirdly enough, boosting it all the way to key black, yeah, if you like just remove cyan, yellow, and magenta, key black actually looks kind of brownish, at least on CSP to me. I'm not sure if that's how it's supposed to work, but if that's how it is, that's how it is. Again, it is a difference between like how it's printed and how the computer renders it, right? I mean, usually it would also be a matter of, hang on. Okay. So I think I do want to try and make the action line for the spear first. I think that's definitely going to be like the most eye-catching thing in here. So I think like it's almost going to be like like a swinging the spear over the head kind of move. So rather than like a just normal thrust, so like I'm picturing almost like a, hang on. So I thought like at first I might be able to like do something like, she brings back this arm right here, and then tries to like go for like an almost like swallowtail kind of approach. But now I'm almost thinking like, she's already got the arm up over there. She's gonna bring it back and then like almost like overhead noodle arm it. So, okay, that would go over here. And then like this. It would be a much wider arc. Okay, so then I think what might be a good idea is to actually like have it be like, almost like moving. Hang on. I hate that the panels have like rulers. That's always been very inconvenient. Show ruler? No, thank you. I just realized I haven't started my background music for the people on the stream. So you know, the stream folks get to experience a little bit of what being a VOD watcher is like. Let's see. So yeah, I'm almost thinking like, kind of like swoosh like this. Let me increase the size of the eraser here. And then like we'd almost have like an after image of the arms up here. And I think the best way to do this is to, again, first have the hand over here, the second hand over here, and even further apart, actually. I remember during a martial arts demonstration I got to watch, there's this Korean sword style martial art called Cont'd, which I actually practiced at one point in my life. Not for very long. The teacher only spoke Korean, and I noticeably don't speak Korean, so it wasn't really meant to be. But this time around, the dude did speak English, so I actually got to learn a little bit, and he told me that one of the tricks to, you know, getting a good swing in, at least in this martial art, I'm not sure if it's different for like other sword styles, particularly since it's a two-handed style. You know, I imagine if something like a wushu or something would have slightly different balance on it. But the idea of it was that you essentially threw all your power with your left hand and you aimed with your right hand. Which would actually make this a pretty good, like, which would mean that, like, the fact that she's holding it with her left hand, assuming she's right-handed, is probably a good idea. But it would also mean that this is the wrong way around. Right. Okay, yeah, because this arm here would be the one gripping the handle of the spear, so to speak. Then it would, as it comes down. Okay, so as it comes down. Okay, she has it here. She goes up. She grabs it with the other hand. No. Okay, wait. She has it over here. She grabs it with the other hand. She comes down and swings it like a bat almost. If that's the case, then I think it's almost better to kind of have the way I had it before with like the two hands together like this. You know, she's almost wielding it like a baseball bat. Yeah, that is actually like a. There's a Japanese martial art for throwing around a club, which involves, from what I remember, the demonstration. It involves a lot of like spinning it around your head. Yeah, because like it was like one of those kanabo, right? The like really big, mean looking iron. What do you call it? Iron club, kanabo jutsu or something like that. It'd have to be called like yeah. There's like a kanabo. Okay, is this the one? Yeah, I'm just queuing it up on YouTube. Hang on. Let me put this sucker in theater mode. There we go. Yeah, you can see that, you know. Oh, did he finish just then? Yeah, he definitely finished just then. All right, let's do that from the beginning. Yeah, really gotta have good hips on this. Yeah, because like that's a big heavy wooden stick, right? So a lot of it would be like swinging it over your head and around your shoulders. This thing must give you a lat workout like a mother, huh? Oh, that was a headbutt. He did a headbutt just then. All right, good stuff. Let's get that out of there. Hmm. I don't know. Am I overthinking this? I feel like I'm overthinking this. Like, the thing is, this is a really cool tableau up here. So it'd be kind of a shame to kind of like let it go from there. Wait, I've got a better idea. All right, hear me out. Okay, so what about like instead of hmm, what? Okay, so maybe instead of like aiming it like that, we make it go a little bit lower, right? So instead of like right there, we make it go a little bit lower, and we make it kind of like aim towards the midsection more than the head. Gotta make sure I don't accidentally get any of the head in there in that selection, by the way. Hmm. No, but then I'm worried that it'll like cross over a little bit too much with the other one. Because I think the other one was also planning like a kind of Tsubame Gaishi type shit. Yeah, like okay, so this one, okay, I think maybe the sword lady. Okay. No, hang on. Oh, another thing I think I also flipped it around by accident. But that's fine. This thing's supposed to be like more of a stabbing weapon anyway. We're getting there, little by little. Then, if that's the case, couldn't I make this almost like in the other direction? No, I don't think that would work. It has to be kind of like a thrust so that she can do that cool kind of like tilt to the side dodge thing, also known as a normal dodge. Hmm. Okay. Maybe I could make it so that it's like almost reaching the ground when she's about to hit it. That would mean that she's standing a little bit further back, though. Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay, I think that this might work a little bit. And then what we can also do to kind of compensate for all of this is we can stretch this leggy out a little bit farther. I'm going to need to remember my proportions on the leggy here. It does not look good. It does also mean that I think I need to like increase the arm length a little, just a touch. There we go. The graft was successful. Oops. Bit too overboard on the eraser there. And then... Okay. Okay. We have the other foot kind of like moving. No, I feel like the other foot should stay grounded, or maybe even like... No, if it's kind of going forward like that, then there's the question of like, well, why isn't like her big toe getting chopped off, or seared off, whatever. Nobody likes to talk about it. The burning weapons introduce a high amount of difficulty into the lexicon you use when maiming somebody. Hey, Pearl, thank you for the raid. How you guys doing? Welcome to the stream. I'm Pab, the Rising VTuber and artist, and today we're going to be doing a little bit of comic work. Yeah, thank you for your hard work today. How was your stream again? I've been meaning to try out doing this, what do you call this, shout-out thing on Twitch. Now seems like a good opportunity as any to try it. Creator dashboard. ¿Dónde está? Howdy, howdy. Yeah, how you doing? And chat appearances, shield. Where's the, hang on. Okay, I don't know how to do a shout out with the Twitch commands, so... Wait, no, would it be just like shout out? Oh yeah, there we go. Lost my final match due to hubris, got timed out because I was trying to time someone else out. Damn! That sucks, dude. But yeah, I mean, the other matches you did were pretty great, though. The dangers of hubris. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that shit'll get you right in the face. Okay, let's see. So this foot would kind of like... Yeah, I was just trying to figure out the logistics of some of the movements here. I've firmly established that this spear needs to go down rather than like a thrust. Which, yeah, doesn't have as much like gravitas as like thrust in terms of like, almost getting your face cut off. But I think like it makes more sense for like it to come down from there and then, smack down on the ground there. This face does now look like one of those like talking Muppets, so that is a problem. I'll need to watch out for that. Anyway, let's see here. I need to also remember that the ground is like just right here. Yeah. When I was talking with Raph through the instructions for the layout for this, he explicitly like said, "Yeah, this is like gonna be like almost like a 2D fighting game segment." It occurs to me that like besides Guilty Gear Strive, I haven't played a lot of like a whole lot of like 2D fighting games or 3D fighting games for that matter. Yeah, my 7-year-old ass picked up Smash Brothers and Melee one day and was like, "That's all I'm ever gonna need." And then, like, Smash Brawl came out, Smash Ultimate came out, and it turns out that no, it wasn't everything that I ever needed. And then I found out about Guilty Gear Strive, and then, well, I'm hoping that I can eventually like get better at fighting games. Don't know if that's going to be feasible. I'm going to try my best regardless. If nothing else, I like the spirit of fighting games. Like there's a very kind of like good-hearted / toxic like competitiveness built into the whole thing, which I enjoy quite a bit. I was trying to figure something out. What was I thinking about just now? Before I started rambling. I need to actually do more with fighting games too, but just never really done that and hard to get used to everything. Yeah, I talked a little bit about it before. There's a fighting game these days called a Yomi Hustle, also called Your Only Move is Hustle. I think Yomi Hustle got like copyright struck or something. Anyway, Your Only Move is Hustle is a lot of fun because it's essentially a fighting game that's done in turn-based. And I found that I had a lot of fun with that one, mainly because I don't know how to put it. I just have more fun that way because I think like because I have fewer flight or fight instincts kick in. Oh wait, no, hang on. Yeah, no, there's no sense for this leg to be up like that. And I think it creates a more striking silhouette if the other leg is just like splayed like that. Although what I can do is to actually like make the hand move forward like this. Yeah, okay. Yeah, all right. I think we've got an idea for how to work this. Introducing the orange lines helped a little bit with this. What about instead of like all that, we almost have like a vertical slash? There we go. Yeah, okay, I think that works a little bit better. Yeah, that's how we do it. I don't know. Come to think of it, like Rumbleverse would qualify as a 3D fighting game then. Because I was saying to myself, like, okay, 2D fighting games just means like, it's not necessarily that it's like in pixel art, it just means the characters are against a flat background like this. What would make like a 3D fighting game, And I was like, oh yeah, that would probably be something like Rumbleverse. I don't know. I think like Soul Calibur might have, or no, Tekken is Tekken one? I don't know. I better not throw around terms irresponsibly while I still don't know anything. That's been my key to success. Don't talk about shit you don't understand, unless it's really funny. Yeah. They say that like the best way to get people to or to like relate to someone or build a fast relationship with someone is to ask them about stuff that they're interested about. I managed to pull that off by just not knowing what the hell is going on. I'm an absolute natural charmer, not because of any like particular like charismatic powers, but just because I just don't know what the hell's going on. So I just always ask the closest person to me, like, "Psst, you got any idea what the fuck's going on?" And from there we talk. Yeah. I often feel the need to iterate that I'm not calling myself stupid. I'm just saying that sometimes I get caught off guard rather easily. I'm smart, rice brain powerful, rice brain multi-thread. However, rice brain and not omniscient. Hang on, I gotta take a sip of water real quick. Right on. So then, okay. I need to figure out a way to make some of the lines just not. Oh wait, I could just vanish the background. Yeah, I guess that works. There we go. Oops. Hang on. Hmm. Oh wait, what if I connect these two? No, hang on. Hang on a minute. Something's not right here. Hmm. Okay, what if we just kind of like wrap these guys? All right, what would be the best way to make sure that these follow the curve of my hand? There we go. Yeah. That's a phrase that I never really understood or managed to make full use of that I learned in high school. Yeah, my art teacher was always like, make sure you use the curve of your hand, the curve of your hand, Pablo, the curve of your hand. I think she was some kind of, like, my art teacher in high school was some kind of British. Could not for the life of me place her accent. But, she always said, like, draw from the curve of your hand. I'm like, my hand is always curved. It's called my palm. I didn't really understand what she meant until, like, very recently. Yeah, that and draw from the shoulder are the two ones said, like, actually, draw from the shoulder was pretty easy for me to grasp. I didn't have trouble understanding draw from the shoulder. Okay, and then. Okay, good, but we need to make it, like, less wide. And then we can just kind of copy another one right over here. Okay. Then over here, natural curve of the hand, buddy. Natural curve of the hand. Draw from the shoulder, natural curve of the hand. Yeah, draw from the shoulder was one that I understood pretty much almost immediately. I still don't always apply it as the thing. Like, I understood it, but I failed to apply it. Okay, I'll draw the impact line of this over the art later. Yeah, I've always been draw from the wrist scout, which will fuck me over in the future. Yeah. I draw from the elbow sometimes, which I don't think is an orthodox technique. But, it's worked for me sometimes. Like, I feel like sometimes when I draw from the shoulder, I'm actually drawing from the elbow. I don't know. Can you get tennis elbow from drawing? What the hell is tennis elbow anyway? Hang on. Let me pop this sucker open. What is tennis elbow? Overuse and muscle strain injury. Well, yeah, no shit. Painful condition that occurs when tendons near your elbow are overloaded, usually by repetitive motions of the wrist and arm. Despite its names, athletes aren't the only people who develop tennis elbow. People whose jobs feature the types of motions that can lead to tennis elbow include plumbers, painters, carpenters, and butchers. Well, ain't that some shit? Arthritis, but for the elbow. Ah, gotcha. Damn, that sucks. I mean, it would have been bad enough if tennis players got it. Tennis, I feel, is like almost like an underratedly violent sport because, you don't hear very often about like tennis. You have more often kind of like, combat sport injuries or like full contact sport injuries. But I feel like tennis is like a much more visceral kind of fear for me because, like, 800 pounds, like this dude who can bench press 800 pounds coming at me like a pain train, that's bad. But somehow it wouldn't make me flinch nearly as much as like a highlighter yellow orb soaring through the air at speeds surpassing 80 kilometers per hour, surpassing most cars. Actually, no. How fast does a tennis ball travel? Airspeed velocity of an unladen tennis ball. The goal in tennis should be to drive the ball through your opponent's body. Tennis small trajectories. Okay. Hang on. Air velocity of a tennis ball. Oh shit, there's like an entire kind of study about this. Hang on. Measurement of the dragon lift, blah, 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 blah. Results of this experiment. Okay, that doesn't tell me the average speed of a tennis ball. How about like a tennis ball machine speed? 65 miles per hour or 104 kilometers per hour. At least. Fuck my life. That is really fast. On highways, I don't think you're allowed to go like 80 kilometers per hour, right? What the fuck are tennis players cooking then? And don't even get me started on squash, right? Like, squash is just tennis, but in an enclosed area. At least on a tennis court, you've got the advantage of the fact that, like, you have somewhere to run from this massive speeding death orb. I mean, granted, even at that velocity, I doubt it's going to be, like, any serious harm. Unless it, like, hits a sensitive spot, right? Oh god, I just looked up squash. This looks terrifying. Thought squash was a food. No, squash is like... Okay, so squash is like... Hang on. Squash court. So squash is like tennis, but inside an enclosed area. So essentially, the goal of these two gentlemen are striving for, yeah, it's essentially like tennis, but on like what's with the what's with this line in the middle here? I think this was in a Tim Allen movie once. I think so. It might have been. It's kind of a quintessential rich dude sport, since it's very indoorsy. It's like it's like the '80s version of Pilates, if you will. Like if like a modern the pompous douchebag character is supposed to be like doing Pilates, if he wasn't the '80s, he would have played squash. But yeah, anyway, squash is just tennis inside of an enclosed room. So that's even worse to me because, tennis ball goes flying, rogue tennis ball in the court, everybody run. You at least have the option to duck and cover, and eventually, it's going to hit like the netting behind you or something. Not so with squash. The only thing that can save you in a squash court is praying. Is luck and prayer. We need to bring back the modern douchey rich guy archetype. I think needs to take some cues from the '80s rich guy douchebag archetype. I feel like we've lost like a kind of genuity to it. Like I find this might be the case in a lot of different in a lot of different medias as well, that like now we've the idea of tropes and everything has become so omnipresent that now almost everything, whether they're intended or not, is like almost like okay, so to pull a modern yet relevant controversial example, the Forspoken game, right? People are talking like all sorts of discourse about the dialogue in that game. I don't really care, but I do think like it feels like a lot of people are talking about like how the game's dialogue, its issue isn't necessarily that it's cringy, it's more like that it's cringing at itself. And while I can agree on that point, I think like that kind of idea of like self-cringe has almost become inescapable these days because, now more than ever we have access to media. Now more than ever we can kind of like almost see the inner workings of stories and how they come together. So people who write stories, they're, I don't know how to put it, like there's such a thing as a variation on a theme, but like because people, instead of cringe, kill the part of you that cringes. Ideally, yes. But I think my point is that because they feel like everything's been done before, because writing is now done by people who like were raised on this very specific diet of all you can eat kind of media. I feel like, I don't know, I can't quite put my finger on what's happening, but like I feel like there is a weird kind of insincerity to a lot of different things these days. And that's almost become kind of inescapable. And that's kind of like circling back to the point that I was trying to make, that, archetypal, nowadays, like rich douchebag characters feel like they're grown in a lab. They feel, like, like in the '80s, like I think like the archetypal rich douchebag in the '80s was a very like almost like sociable person. Like you could see how this person would be, very popular wherever they would be, because the idea of the archetypal rich douchebag isn't just that they are, rich douchebags. It's also the idea that they are, by fortune, by hook or by crook, somehow like better than you, and that includes like social life and everything. But I feel like nowadays, right, like what rich people do particularly is so beyond parody that if you want to kind of like have a modern version of the rich douchebag trope, you kind of have to make them absolute buffoons. Which isn't to say that like rich people aren't buffoons. Everybody's a buffoon. Rich people, particularly so, since they have the greater resources for buffoonery. But I don't know how to put it. Like I feel like I feel like the American Psycho. Right. I watched American Psycho one time. Decent movie, but like I feel like the kind of like skincare routine that the dude in American Psycho does, you wouldn't be able to make that scene today without somebody saying like, okay, well that's stupid, but like it makes first effect sense for the character, but like now it'd be like, I don't know, like it'd be like he's eating raw meat in the morning or something, or I don't know, some shit. I haven't watched Glass Onion yet. I'm not up to the most recent tropes of like what constitutes like a random rich dude's party. I still have to watch that movie. I like Knives Out a lot, so I'm wondering if I will like Glass Onion as well. I made plans with a friend of mine to see that one new horror question mark movie called Emma, which looks like a lot of fun. Same, heard Glass Onion was pretty good. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm kind of excited to watch Emma because for some reason it's giving me the same kind of vibes that I felt like when I watched the trailer, it gave me the same sort of vibes as like Evil Dead 2 for some reason. And I think that might be because of that one scene in the trailer where like she's chasing a kid through the woods or something. I feel like that kind of called to mind like Evil Dead 2 to me for some reason. Yeah. Yeah, Megan. Yeah, Megan spelled like with a 3 or whatever, like that. Like Megan. Yeah, that one's good. Ah, nice. I'm happy to hear that. Let's see here. Yeah, when I was like 13, I played Poker Night: The Inventory 2 because I wanted to see Sam and Max in it. Because for some reason I was like obsessed with the Telltale Sam and Max games, even though I wasn't able to play them very easily. Yeah, 12 years young, not a particularly large brain. You know how it is. It's like they take the doll horror genre and yassify it. I am saying this in a positive tone. Good, honestly, I feel like the horror doll genre needed to be yassified. We've had enough of like stuffy Victorian era dolls trying to like murder people with knives. Give me a Bratz doll with a Glock. I've been saying this. I've always said that. Yeah. I feel like one thing that we are missing is like having a piece of media where like one of those fucked up Sid toys from Toy Story is like the main protagonist. I know they were the protagonist in that what do you call, in that movie as well technically, but I feel like we need one where like the main character is one of those fucked up looking toys, or becomes one of those fucked up looking toys. I feel this is what the society needs to heal. Yeah. This guy needs at least one more vector point. Come on. There we go. Toy Story 5. It's a horror movie now. Honestly, I'd be pretty happy if that's the direction they took the whole thing. Yeah, I mentioned this earlier. Nobody stops producing stuff until it stops printing money. Toy Story in particular is like one of Disney's big IPs, so I wouldn't be surprised if they just kept revivifying it somehow. Each time it's like, oh, this is going to be the last one. Oh, this is going to be the last one. Motherfucker, it's been the last one since like 2013. You're going to need to do better to convince me this time. Toy Story 5. Woody dies in this one. Buzz Lightyear gets the firing squad execution on screen. Nothing against Woody or Buzz Lightyear, by the way. I think they're great gentlemen, but like I want to see if they just have the balls to do it. It's the thing. They don't have the guts. Hmm. How long does the sentience of a toy in the toy universe last? Hmm. I Sorry, that question was just like so profound that I think it actually filled me with existential dread. Like, if the body gets destroyed, are they still able to think? Oh God, I wasn't even thinking of it in that way. I was thinking of like, what happens if like a toy gets trapped underneath like a landfill or some shit? Like, is there a toy still around from World War II that's been like buried over and over in like a blitzed out house? Like, you were thinking more of like a body dismemberment, still conscious situation. I was thinking of like cars at the end of part 2 of JoJo kind of situation, where they've just been sentient. And they're kind of like in a low stasis mode or something. Yeah, they were both really fucked up. Hang on, I gotta Google this. Is this like somebody needs to have answered this question already? Can toys die in Toy Story? Blah blah blah. Okay, from Lee Unkrich, the director of Toy Story 3. Hang on. Let me put this up on the big screen here. They live as long as they exist, but if they were to be utterly destroyed, say in an incinerator, game over. Okay. So, I choose to believe that it also has something to do with like, what do you call? Okay. So that means they can still think after dismemberment. I was going for that. Yeah, like, I mean, we've seen like Woody get his arm ripped off, more or less, or like the different toys get their arms ripped off. I think that happened at least once, where like a toy got their arm ripped off or some shit. Yeah, Woody just got his arm like really badly torn. It wasn't like a straight up like it wasn't straight up dismemberment, but it was close, right? So we know that they can come back from like really bad incidents. But I think like, yeah, they can definitely survive dismemberment, I should imagine. But, to the extent, like if the head gets dismembered, I don't know, is it a zombie type situation then? Does that mean like if they, do you need, if a toy is trying to murderize you, do you need to go for the head? Is that what's up? Complicated questions in the Pab's Heart channel today. I think we need to get like a priest in here or something. I feel like they'd be able to. I feel like they would be able to answer this from a theological perspective. Wait, remember that baby head from the first movie? That's right. Oh my God, you're so totally right. The baby head. The walking baby head that Sid fucked up. Oh my God, yes, that's right. The baby head was still alive, or at least like still conscious in some way. It still had like sentience. Sapience, perhaps not, but sentience certainly. Fuck, dude. Oh God. Okay, right. So we have the baby head. So we know that they can live after being dismembered, but like the fucked up truth of the Toy Story universe. Yes. Okay. God, we're getting into some film theory shit today. I love it. God, remember that like miles long Tumblr post that floats around every now and again saying like all Pixar movies are interconnected? And like saying that the Cars universe is actually like a, what do you call, like a post-apocalyptic Earth or something? God. Some people live for stuff like food, their loved ones. The Cars universe is set after Wall-E, I think. Yeah. Something like that. Remember for the advertisement in like Cars 3 where they were like threatening to murder Lightning McQueen? I wish they went through with it. Like Earth gets fucked and leads to Wall-E, people return at the end of the movie, the cars gain sentience. Yeah, something like that. Anyway, I think we've developed this line about as well as it can be. I've had the pleasure of never seeing Cars 3. I've never seen Cars 2 either. I think one time my English teacher played a clip of like Cars 2. Yeah. I think they played a clip of Cars 2 where like they were trying to show like what a metaphor is, because like there's a scene apparently where Mater's been strapped to a bomb for some reason. And he's like, no, I'm the bomb. I'm the bomb. And like and the other guy's like, yes, you are the bomb. And he's like, no, I've got a literal bomb on me. What kind of shit did they get up into in like Cars 2? I think like they become like secret agents or something. I that's the only context that I can think of. You know, where like freaking bombs could be involved. Cars 2 is a spy movie where the car pope is real and there are car terrorists. Oh god, I forgot about the car pope. I forgot that that Christianity and Catholicism are real in the Cars universe. That feels perverse somehow. Yeah. God, yeah, the car pope, huh? Right, I remember that the car pope is like the Pope mobile and everything. God. It's just that, like that one song said, the less I know, the better. Except it's purely limited to the Cars universe and cosmology. Cars shouldn't have religion. Cars shouldn't be allowed to have religion. Cars aren't real. Also, hang on. Something feels weird about the proportions of this arm. They made Mater the main character of Cars 2 because they felt Larry the Cable Guy didn't get enough screen time in the first one. I mean, Mater is a delight, is the thing. You know, I do feel like I enjoy Mater conceptually. Hang on. I gotta elongate this arm a little bit. Thus, they made him a spy. So they took Mater, the one car that's most likely to be on like a federal watch list, and made him the spy, made him a narc. Unbelievable. I was about to do a joke about the thing that happened the other day, but I'm not sure I'm allowed to talk about that on Twitch. If you know, you know. Anyway. Hang on. Let's just say, for those of you not in the know, or like some of you, or for anybody who's having trouble figuring out what I'm talking about, it involves a picture of somebody holding a sprigatito. And that's all I'm going to say. Again, I'm not sure if you're allowed to talk about that on Twitch. I talk about like news sometimes on Twitch, which isn't, you know, it's probably not great for, you know, the rewatch value of these streams. But it's usually just inane stuff that leads me to ramble about other inane stuff, so I usually don't really mind it too much. Are we allowed to talk about the Sprigatito incident? There we go. I don't think we are, and I don't think I should. Yep. I have no context and I'm afraid to ask. I will say that it's not a bad thing necessarily. Not bad for you and me, at least. For the average Joe, this is going to affect absolutely nothing, I think. Hang on. Yeah, I think it's something that you're definitely like safe enough to Google. Like if you Google person holding Sprigatito plushie, you might find it more or less first hit. But yeah, like I said, it's definitely like a how do I put this? Like a noteworthy thing. It's not necessarily a bad thing. So yeah, if you're curious, try to Google it. You might eventually find it, or not even eventually. Like it's still fairly recent news. I think it broke in like the past week or so. Oh yeah, that bit of news. Yeah, you probably. I think you know what I'm talking about now. Yeah, I'm not sure I'm allowed to talk about that explicitly and without subterfuge on Twitch. I've been making allusions to it for like 5 minutes now, but I feel like I'm still skirting under the radar. Yeah. What did people remember when like everybody thought like you'd get shadow banned or something of her talking about the coronavirus, so they started calling it like the pepperoni or whatever? I never found that particularly cute. There we go. The funniest one that I've seen yet still is like somebody showing like their COVID positive test and yelling, "Does this mean I'm pregnant?" I think that's been the funniest way. That's been the funniest way anybody I've seen discuss it has handled it. I know Twitch is weird about stuff, so can't wait to skirt around topics they don't like. Yeah, that's fair. Hmm. Hang on, something screwy here. Is this still okay? That's still key black. Weird. Hang on, gotta take a quick. Gotta mute for a second. Okay, I have applied lip balm. I am ready for action once again. Yeah, there's like Dark Souls text pop up that says like lip balm deployed or something. Huh, that's weird. My subtitles aren't working that anymore. Oh, there we go. I'm convinced that whenever my closed captions crap out, it's because I say something so weird that they just like kind of like shrug and throw their hands up for a second. Yeah. The little gnome they have writing all my captions and throws his hands up in the air, quits, and is immediately replaced by an identical, genetically and dispositionally, gnome. Yeah, see, the other guy just quit as well. He was just like, no. Oh, goddamn it. He's talking about the gnomes again, isn't he? And, you know, there's a very quick turnaround on them. Thankfully, I paid them pennies on the dollar. Quite literally. Gnome currency is just normal money, but they think that the bigger it is, the more expensive it is. So if you literally pay them the smallest coins once a month, they still think it's like a bounteous fortune. The caption gnomes that live in my computer. Precisely. Yes. Yeah, they used to have them like as like expert crackers. See, before they got the gig captioning me, they were essentially working for hacker groups and circumventing captcha pictures like at a rate of one per minute. It took them a while to like hop across the keyboard. You see, they're very small. But yeah, now they have also their own voice to speech program, and they have perfect, grammatical diction. So it's very easy for them to like provide words which I speak at the same speed. One of these days, I'm going to tell a lie so stupid that it's going to explode my computer. Straight up. Again, I don't consider most of this lying because I feel like if you take any of like my bits as truth, I feel like that's almost on you. I do want to be like mindful of people who are easily gullible, but come on now. Well, everybody knows that caption gnomes aren't real. They're like the chupacabra or the tooth fairy or the Titanic. There is no Titanic, there is no Tooth Fairy, and there is no Queen of England. This one doesn't have enough force as a thing. Hmm. Hmm. How about, okay, I'll have like an after image of the arms up here. Needs to have more lines here. And actually, come to think of it, this would actually be more suitable for the left arm rather than the right arm. Oh yeah, I like making fingers that look like the person who has them has like very gnarly joints. I like super like gnarly hands like this. They're so much fun to draw. There we go. Even if the hand position doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Yeah. Hmm. Then what about... Like that? No, that doesn't look enough like a fist. Uh, hmm. It's a little tough because I don't want to kind of interrupt the action line back there. But it's other. But you know, it's if I can't do it like that, then hang on. What about like this? No, no. Whoops. I meant to hold down the undo button, but I seem to have held down the zoom button instead. Then maybe what I can do is actually like shrink down this arm a little bit as well. Yeah, the only bad thing about the vector lines and the vector selection kind of abilities that Clip Studio has is that sometimes it mistakes you wanting to select more vector lines for moving those vector lines. Also, I think technically her hand is facing the wrong direction because yeah, it had the palm supine, I think is the word, facing the ground. I always try. I kind of wanted to make the maids have like a very unnatural jerky movement, but that's very difficult to communicate in a non-animated medium without it looking stiff. Like the problem is that like jerky, stiff movements are very pronounced in stuff like movies because you're expecting to see the characters moving, but because it's just things on a page, jerky movements actually just look like you're bad at drawing and conveying motion. Okay. Or wait, actually, I got a better idea. No, hang on. Shrink that back down again. There we go. Yes. Okay, hang on. Simplify vector line. I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing. I don't even know why I'm saying that in like a panicked way. I actually do know what I'm doing. Adjust line width. Yeah. I'll actually redraw vector line width. There we go. Okay, what's going on with this thing? You know what? That's good enough. I'll take it. Why not? Hmm. Okay, then over here, there we go. Copy that and then move it over here. Then from there, okay, well, I need to remember the way that I ended this. I know that it's a hook, but I keep forgetting which direction I hooked it in. Oh, okay, so it just kind of follows the... I see, hang on. That's easy enough to remember, I think. It's kind of a wonder how I forgot. Okay. And then from there, I think what we can do is actually grab these two guys right here. Copy and paste them. Bring them up here, rotate them around so they're nice and flat, and then got ourselves a nice long shaft. For the sphere. A nice long shaft for the sphere. Yeah. I was reading up on, like, random news articles, right? I do that sometimes before stream. And I think, like, right now there's, like, a dude in Australia who's just been leaving behind, like, sausage in mailboxes or something. Did I read that right? Hang on, let me double check. Hang on. The sausage sneaker. Yeah, here we go. Mystery remains as Surfdale Sausager strikes again. Here we go. Stop.com/New Zealand. Oh, it's Highness. Fellas, take a look. Get a load of this. It's not even a proper hot dog. It's a sausage with toast. Despite the meaty mystery of who is putting the sausages in letterboxes in Waiheke Island, suburb of Surfdale drawing national and international interest, the puzzle is no closer to being solved. Oh, God. That is... It's... Yeah. I suppose that you could call it a poor man's hot dog. But, like, everything about this is so wrong. Not a single thing right is going on in that picture. Yeah. I think somebody that once referred to, I like the phrase "the poor man's X and Y," right? Like, I think somebody once called, like, a pack of monsters, like a white monster and a catnap in the sun, like the poor man's beach vacation. To be honest, I've taken many of those. Have you guys ever tried, like, doing something called a coffee nap? It's pretty good, actually. Like, the idea is that you drink coffee, immediately take a nap, maybe a quick power nap, like a 20-minute nap, 15-minute nap, hour nap, maybe, if you can swing it. And then the idea is that by the time you've woken up, the caffeine has kicked in, and you're already kind of, like, feeling refreshed. Hang on. Can I, like, quickly just like very quickly bend this just a little bit. Yeah. That being said, one time I did try to take a coffee nap and ended up sleeping for 3 hours. So, your mileage may vary. Yeah, I think I made a joke about it to my friend group that one time, like my coffee nap turned into like a coffee coma, a coffee repose. Let's see. Also, I think if that's how we're gonna do it, then does this make any more sense? Okay, yeah, hang on. We've got to do a couple more things to this action line up here. But first, I'm just gonna draw this person's face. I think they've gone on long enough without it. Gonna need to move this arm bit here, so I've got enough space to work with. This finger joint is a little too fat. There we go. I can't ever draw a helmet like this without thinking of the dude from Berserk. Yeah, Griffith's like demon form, Femto, I think it was its name. Man, fuck Griffith, honestly. Like I know like I've seen a lot of people like being like, yeah, but he's hot, but yeah, but that doesn't even begin to cover everything that's wrong with him. I'll let 1,000 more Griffiths get slapped before I let this country die. Yeah, that one absolute pimp smack he got from that one kid whose name I forgot is still like every like if I need to like renew my courage to live, I will remember that moment. Hang on. We've reached a point in Berserk where Guts killing Griffith would cause more damage to humanity than help it. So looking forward to see how that plays out. Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? For an absolute piece of shit, he's built a pretty good utopia for himself, hasn't he? What an absolute douchebag. The worst thing you can do... yeah, the worst thing that Griffith ever did is like actually make himself beneficial to society. Because that means now we just can't kill him without feeling guilty. Yeah. Berserk at its core, I think somebody else said this before. Berserk at its core is an idea of what you do after you experience grief. Like that's been a very common theme. Like, what do you do after you experience an intense amount of grief and that's been like a common theme throughout the work, you know, like Guts felt, you know, that kind of like guilt after I don't know if he felt guilt murdering his father, but he definitely felt something, you know, in his being that his backstory being as traumatic as it was, he like definitely had like a lot of grief to work through. even more so after the end of the Golden Age arc, which let's not even begin to get into that. But I think like in terms of like the message that it's like been discussing, in terms of its themes, it's definitely more interesting for Griffith to like try and be a good person. But also, I'd so badly want to see his face get caved in by Guts' massive sword. On one hand, Griffith absolutely deserves some comeuppance. On the other, Guts is beginning to heal and could just leave peacefully with his new party. Yeah. Yeah, like they've made it to the place where like Casca can just chill out and heal. Like spoilers for a manga that hasn't updated since like 2020, I think. I think like they released one chapter after Miura's death, and that's still the most recent chapter. And I do think like maybe they should like maybe that's not necessarily a bad thing, because you know Guts and the gang reached where they needed to be. Griffith is off in Falconia doing some fucking bullshit or something. I don't know what his deal is. He's probably a little busy running a country. That does tend to eat up time. So yeah, I do feel like it's almost a good thing that it ended where it did, because in theory, I mean, I don't know, like he's just ruling his utopia now and keeps keeping apostles in line. Yeah. I will say that my one regret is that like we didn't get to see more of that weird fucked up centaur apostle. That guy had a really cool design. I was big into that guy's design, and we only got to see him like once, I think, when they were like fending off in the witch's house and Guts put on the weird armor set for the first time. The Dogi armor set. The armor that kills you, you know. Yeah. Have I ever shown you guys the torch? Have I shown you guys the torch? I want to show you guys the torch. Let me show you guys the torch. Hang on. Torch shield weapon. Oh yeah. Here we go. Feast your eyes. This is a weapon known as the torch. It is a weapon of Russian design. The Berserker armor doesn't even make you stronger or more resilient. All it does is make sure you can't feel pain, which is generally bad. Yeah, pain is necessary. This is not necessarily what the torch does, but I do think it's funny. So, yeah, I think like... yeah, hang on. Russian torch. Does it have a Wikipedia article? I hope it has a Wikipedia article. Please let it have a Wikipedia article. It has... What language is this? It has an Italian. hold on. The only Wikipedia article for this weapon is in Italian. What the fuck? Okay. Escudo de un instrumento de defensa pasiva. Okay, so essentially, with the introduction of the firearms in I guess that's a 15th century or something. It demanded a use of the shield in which it could be in which a firearm could be used passively, more or less. It's also called like the Targa Rusa, but yeah. Peep this. I think it's also like... So I think it has like a... I think the whole thing of the torch is that it has the blade there, and it's supposed to protect you from bullets. I need another article. Hang on. Starch dictionary. Starch. Bob.la. Torch. Oh, here we go. Wait, I could just feed the Wikipedia article into the translation software. But yeah, anyway, that's the Targe. This is the stupidest fucking weapon in existence. Least of all because, like, you can't move your arm. Which I imagine is a pretty important thing for keeping yourself alive. Yeah, it maybe protects you from bullets, but, like, so does a normal shield. All right, we were gonna move around this action line again. Okay, I'm just gonna, like, grab all the lines in here and just scoop them off to the side. But stabbing at the same time too. You have two hands. Broadly speaking, you're gonna have two hands. Well, I mean, no, I guess, like, thorn armor is, like, a thing that in video games that's a fun concept. But less so in real life, I think. Okay, I gotta be careful to, like, not overdo it with the lines here. Yeah. Broadly speaking, there isn't a real good use. There's no real good time to be using a torch, except for the meme of it, but I almost wish that it was like a joke weapon in, like, a medieval combat video game. Honestly, like, I feel... Yeah, much like the Berserker armor, you're not going to feel pain while using it, except the emotional one of everybody making fun of you in the battlefield for it. God. At least things like, you know, I think, like, hang on. There are, like, those medieval warhammers, right? Warhammer. Okay, medieval warhammer. That looked like basically normal hammers, right? So, like, when you think of warhammer, you usually think of, like, a big old smacking stick, but really they had, like, very small heads. A maul, the ones made specifically to fuck up armor? Yeah, basically. So, like, these things, right? They weren't particularly, like... They're just a thin reed of metal with, like, a big head at the end, but that's really all you need. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, like, that's really all you need to fuck up somebody's day, because, like, the concentration of the impact on either side of this thing would, like, punch through armor. Which is fantastic if you're fighting armored opponents, like, say, some douchebag on a horse coming at you with a lance. So that thing just looks like a normal-ass hammer, but, like, it does damage. It does everything that it's supposed to. A torch is just kind of sucky. I feel. Like, I don't think, like, a torch would have, like, a good feel to it. We need, like, a similar word for mouthfeel, but, like, for handling weapons. Like, ease of use comes to mind, but, like, it doesn't have the same idea as, like, mouthfeel. Also, hold up, I gotta add some more lines to this thing. Actually, hang on, let me check the one that I printed out earlier. Yeah, okay, it does add something. Yeah. No, hang on. Something's not right there. I think that rather than squeezing them together, or, like, with brute force, I need to, like, bunch them together like this. I know having a big hammer makes it difficult in real life combat situation, but consider, I like swinging it. Correct. That's yeah. You know, an important factor in learning any martial art is your own motivation to learn. And if you think that swinging around a big hammer is fucking awesome, then that's going to be a big motivator for you. That's going to be something that you can use to kind of like not only temper your discipline, but also make sure that you can, keep up with the movements. Like I actually, I wasn't that big of a fan of karate before joining like a karate dojo, and I joined a dojo for like 2 months, and after well, no, I joined it for like the better part of a year. Then the whole thing where we couldn't see each other in person for a little while happened, and the dojo broke up a little bit. I know that they're having classes again now, but I just haven't. I'm not gonna like walk my ass there every Tuesday and Thursday to have classes. The convenient thing was that it was like on university campus, so I could just like go there if I needed to. But now it's like a fair trek out there, and like it's in like the middle of the night. I'm not sure I could be able to make it like consistently. Luckily, I know that there is a boxing gym near where I live as well. So if I ever get some time on my hands, which I actually might have soon, I'm definitely going to try and take up another martial arts soon. But I digress. The reason that I ended up enjoying karate a lot more than I thought I would at least, is because after I kept practicing the like mid block motion. Hang on, I'm gonna Google it real quick. I'm gonna pull up a video of it. Karate middle block. Oh hell yeah! Sorry, boxing was what I did in high school. It's good for cardio. Oh yeah, no, you need to have like mad cardio for boxing. But like, hang on, karate middle block. Okay, so I'm gonna pull up a video right here. Hang on. Yeah, so this is. I'm not sure if this is what karate style this is. I did Shotokan karate, and wow, just like Tekken. Fuck, dude, it sure is. But yeah, if you do that move and you do it right, you actually feel like your wrist kind of like snap in a very pleasant like it feels. I'm doing it right now. If you hear that like that bumping, like it feels like super good if you get that flick of the wrist just right. It feels great and it feels natural. And once I got like the feeling of that movement, I wanted to learn more, and that's what motivated me to keep going. So I think that definitely, like, if you like swinging around big hammer, that's going to be like much more powerful than I want to puncture people with armor. If you want to learn martial arts, or historical European martial arts, or what, fuck it, make your own martial art. This is no longer a world where punching things can solve a problem, but the flip side of that is that now you can basically make whatever martial art you want, and that's just going to be like your thing. Because ultimately, martial arts are tools made to hurt people. Let's not mince words here. Martial arts are made to hurt people. But there is also the idea, I think like particularly these days as well, there's like a benefit to enjoying the movements that you make. So I think if you can find something that you enjoy doing, and you like, if it's just like practicing with a weapon and you enjoy doing it and you make a discipline out of it, even though that's not necessarily a codified martial art or anything, you're still technically doing martial arts and you're still having fun with it. And I think at the end of the day, that's what matters. Whew. Have I spent literally the entire stream just drawing this one thing? Well, no, I think I also went back and did something in this first panel. Didn't I? Right, no, half of it was like figuring out how the motion here would work. There we go. Let me move this swish right here over. And I'm just going to borrow this thing again. Hang on, I'm going to simplify the hell out of these lines so I can make them into, like, a curve. I think that's about as simple as it gets. They just laughed. All right. How about this? Yes, okay, that works. Yeah, okay. And then right here, we can add a little bit of a bend to this sucker. There we go. Maybe... Okay, so maybe by stretching it out, it'll be better? Yeah, okay, I think that's... Yeah. And that means we can also, like, extend this part over here. Oops. I accidentally got a little bit of the older one. I like the new one a lot more than I like the old one, honestly. Like, I feel like this one just feels a lot cleaner. Hang on. Okay, I think at this point it would be better if I started drawing a million, because I feel like otherwise I'm just not going to... I'm going to draw way too much of the spear way more of the spear than I need to, and I'll just suffer for that. There we go. Okay, what's wrong with the eyes this time? There we go. I feel like her smile would be slightly less wide. Should I be drawing her on a different layer? Yeah, I think it's worth it. I think it's worth doing that. Let me just add a second one of these. How are we for time anyway? We've still got like 15 minutes. I think we can finish a million right here. Do you want to delete the entire layer? No, I do not. Why would you ask me that? I mean, I'm glad you asked and didn't just do it, but don't. Yeah. I remember having a weirdly late night yesterday. I don't remember why that happened. I think it's because I ended up applying all those extra changes to the first panel. I'm glad I did, though. I think the current one looks much better than the old one. Hold up. There we go. Wrong layer. Come on. What are we doing? There we go. Then over here. Would it be too funny to make it look like her hair is being smushed against the action line? I think that's fine. I feel like I made her head too wide. Hang on. No, I think that's a fair amount of width. Let's tighten up a little bit more, though. Okay, and that's going to swing around like here. Okay, first things first, let's take a look at how the background's doing. Okay, we're fine. Although I am a little worried about the lack of gutters on the page. Yeah, didn't we have gutters here? Hold on. Oh, wait, hang on. There we go. Okay, how do I make it so that these guys move independently of each other? What's the divide frame folder or frame border or whatever? Keep gutter aligned horizontal. None. There we go. There we go. Just a little bit of a gap for each one. You know, not too much. Don't want to like give them very little breathing room in here. But just a little bit of extra space between the gutters. Yeah, I think that helped a little bit. Now, let's see, is there still enough ground for them to walk on? Oh, they're fine. They're fine. Although I think one thing I should try and do is try to make it more obvious that the mate is like kneeling almost. Well, not kneeling. She has her knees bent. She's in a fighting stance. Hold up. Hey, am I doing this right? Yes, I am. Okay. Hang on. Okay. Just wish that away. I think more so than like adding this little gap here. I think what might actually help a little bit is if I flipped the dress up just a little bit so that I could show her feet. There we go. Oh, right on. And then just have that bent foot there, just kind of indicating that she's not quite standing straight. No, I think that still makes it her body look a little bit short. All right, here's what we do. First, we raise her up a little bit. Then we elongate her a little bit downward. No, that's not going to work. Yeah, there's something about the mate's proportions that's like bothering me. Hang on. Okay, that's a good line. I like those lines, but I still haven't solved my most pressing concern, which is that this mate is a little too short. What if we leaned her forward a little bit? Yes, okay. I think that might help a little bit. Yes, okay. I can see the solution now. Yeah. Sometimes the solution doesn't involve. It's really weird sometimes, right? Because sometimes the right answer does involve throwing away what you've already made, but that doesn't necessarily mean it'll be more work. Like I could have struggled with that same height for like 100 different passes, and still not really gotten to the root of the problem. So I think like sometimes it is just that you need to try again, but knowing now what you need to do. It's knowing that I still can get on the first pass, though. I need to work on that still. That being said, now I am at liberty to add an extra little foot here. And then we remove these two lines here because they're no longer really useful. Okay, and I think the ditto can be said for Emilian. I think, but I think hers is going to be more about shrinking the head a little, making the hair slightly less tall. You know, it's not quite a beehive. It's just like a perm. Is that what a perm is? I don't think that's what a perm is. Do I know what a perm is? Whatever. It's just kind of it's kind of like in this hairstyle, on this like slightly tall hairstyle. I think another good idea would probably be to lower the line width. Of a lot of these things, yeah. Okay, and then actually this one too. The good thing is that Emilian does have those like big floppy sleeves to accentuate her movements like this. That's something that I enjoy. I feel like I should make like, assuming it's not gonna be too much of a pain in the ass. I feel like that could become like a thing for like a character with like long flowing movements. I guess that would make sense. Yeah, the martial art she uses in this scene is supposed to be reminiscent of Aikido, or actually no, it is just a straight up Aikido throw. God, Aikido is so weird. Like, it looks like it should be a fake martial art, and if in the wrong hands, it doesn't work. But like you see videos of like a dude who practices Aikido actually throw a guy, and you're like, yeah, that guy doesn't look like he's faking it. So either they have really good people who are very good at selling it, or they like that ancient little Japanese man did just body flip a dude twice his weight and twice his size. Hang on. Let's see. I'm gonna. Oh, I was about to say I'm gonna drink some water, but I'm out of water right now. I'll refill soon. I promise. I just gotta finish up Emilian's part right here. There we go. Is this the right hand? Yeah, it would be. Guy that definitely knows which hand is the right hand. Yeah. Do you guys still have to like do that thing where like you make an L with your left hand to remember which one's your left and which one's your right? I still have to do that sometimes. Like if I like, that's how I learned it at least. I used to be really bad with directions because like I learned my directions in Spanish, right? So I learned derecho y izquierda. Derecho is right and izquierda is left. But to me, like, because I think right and izquierda both had eyes in it, I think I used to think that like right could be izquierda and like left could be derecha. So I kind of ended up confusing myself for a long time until I found like this little book of like it was definitely like one of those like Scholastic Fair bargain bin books that had like a bunch of like quote unquote fun facts in it that like any idiot born in the Western world would know. But like since I was born in like Latin America, you know, they told me this trick about like that you could do where you can form an L with your left hand, and that's how you know which direction it is, and it blew my mind. I'm like, oh, you mean I've been struggling with that all this time for nothing? Yeah, it was a very educational book. Educational for me, if nothing else. Yeah. That's why I also used to like the mental math notebook workbooks that they provided in my school one time. Those if you've never had one of those, they're essentially like a big book of like different problems that you can do mental math to solve, or that ideally you'd be using mental math to solve. And I wasn't very good at mental math, or at least I wasn't very good at first. But then I eventually like got better at it, and it was because like the back of that book had like a lot of different tricks to do mental math. I think most of it has kind of like gone for good now, like up in my head. But you know, there are still some useful things. I'm sure that if I awaken the instinct again, the mathematician's instinct, surely it won't abandon me in my time of need. Here we go. There we go. I am on the right layer, right? Yes, I am. Okay. I do think I should pull this neck back a little bit. There we go. Is the head too big? I think the head might be a bit too big. It's really awesome that like, you know, I was taught the different proportions using that idea that like your shoulders should be two heads apart, right? So like if you've got like a normal dude, ideally your like from shoulder to shoulder you'll have three heads, the one in the middle, the one on and one on each side. And because I taught myself that idea, I think like it's also supposed to be like one head per each segment of your arm, like one head per bicep, one head per forearm. I think because of that, I realized very early on that if you just control the size of the head, you essentially control the proportions for the rest of the body. Yeah. What was that one theory? There's like this theory in fashion called the three necks theory, which posits that like the place where your accessories are most powerful are on 3 of your necks, or I think like your clothes should emphasize the 3 necks on your body. Now you don't have 3 literal necks unless you're like Safot Beeblebrox or something, but like you obviously have the neck on your head or connected to your head, but you also have your wrists and you also have your ankles. And ideally, your outfits should emphasize those sections. Again, not a hard and fast rule. Fashion is bonkers in that anything can work, assuming like you have the right ingredients and the right lighting and the right atmosphere and everything. It's a very situational kind of idea, but that's been a consistent thing that like if you can emphasize your ankles, your wrists, and your proper neck, it's going to work very well in your favor. That's like why, for example, people wear wristwatches, because that's also, and that's why wristwatches are fashionable, or like why people like have like those cuffed boots that like show off their socks and whatever. Yeah, tricking people into thinking you have long legs, and showing off the 3 necks, I think, are like the fundamentals of fashion, or so I've read. You know, I'm not a particularly fashionable guy myself. I believe in a casual dress code, if nothing else, for my streams. But yeah, another fun fact is that a lot of like fashion, or like men's fashion, can actually be traced back to the military. So, for example, suits are, the collar on suits is, I think, is supposed to be like loosely based on like a military uniform and what those look like, or at least it has nods to the military uniforms. Weird, right? All right, time to draw the big old boot. Yeah, what was the other one? I remember that there were like, I read like a fashion manga, right? This is where I got most of my information, right? Is that I read a fashion manga called like Dress Like This, Not Like That. And I remember that the 2 tips that stuck out to me the most were like emphasize your 3 necks and try to make your legs look longer. Like those are sort of like the principles of like most fashion. I don't know when people became obsessed with long legs. When was that a thing? Since when have we been all about the legs? Like, I get it. Listen, I understand. But why legs specifically? Long legs? There are some mysteries that which I'll just never understand properly. That's not a bad thing. It's good for the world to have a little bit of mystery in it. What was that thing that somebody said once? Like, once you apply a description to something, or like once you define something with words, it loses some of its power. Right? Like, no, it's not that it loses its power, it's that it limits it. Once you describe something, it limits it. And that makes sense, actually, because I've been taking this marketing course, right? This modern marketing course. And what this guy feels like he rambles on for quite a bit, much like myself. But he does have some interesting points to make. One of them being the idea that when you're trying to market something, what you're trying to create isn't like just awareness of your product, but also, or, service, what have you, but it's also creating tension. the goal of a lot of marketing is to create tension of like, wait, okay, so what's going to happen once I buy this? What should I expect from this? It's kind of creating that feeling of almost like anticipation, really. And I don't know if that's necessarily true, but I do believe that kind of links to the idea of, and he mentioned this in one of the course's parts, that having like an elevator pitch for your product is all well and good. Hell, I have an elevator pitch for myself. I say it at the beginning of every stream. But once you receive that pitch, your idea loses a bit of that tension that it had. Well, I didn't mean to do that. Anyway, redraw vector line width. Here we go. But yeah, once you define your idea, once you kind of like essentially create the beginning and end of your idea, it loses that tension. It loses that idea of mystery. And that's why it's, while it's helpful, it's not necessarily the best way you can introduce somebody to your product. At least that's what I understood from the lesson. Like I said, I have a hard time keeping up with that guy's trains of thought. Yeah, maybe I need some more like practice in my understanding of the marketing as a whole. But I don't know. Sometimes I'm not one of those people to apply like a reductionist set of thinking, right? I'm not gonna say like, if you can't explain it in simple words, then you shouldn't explain it at all. However, I do believe that like you're not obligated to make it as difficult as possible for the people who are trying to understand what you're trying to say. Can I like increase this even more? I could, but I shouldn't. Okay, I'm going to slide her just a little bit forward. Okay, I think we finished 1,000,000, so I think that's a good stopping point for today. I really need to get faster at doing these pages. But I think we've done, we've done some good work today. We've made the maid in 1,000,000. That's one half of panel 2 already. How are we for time? Yeah, it's about time to head home. There we go. All right. Well, let's see here. Who all is streaming right now? Yeah. As always, I'll be back on working on the comic tomorrow night as well. Oh, hell yes. Corgi's playing Subnautica. All right, let's go say hi. Hang on. All right. Well, once again, I'll be streaming more comic work tomorrow night. Hey, congratulations for making it through Wednesday. That means the weekdays are halfway through. You did a great job, and I will see you all later. Bye.